So basically, the way that parents can actively try to help their kids through this, if they've been, you need to do something, you need to do something, and that's a sticking point, you guys are getting into it, and it's causing tension in your household, and it's just making your kids shut down or leave or ignore you more, what you should do is, one, get out of your house with them, take them somewhere, like go get ice cream, go get a snack, go do something, go out of the house, go to a Mexican restaurant, get some tortilla chips, and just sit down and talk to them, whatever you got to do. Get them by themselves out of their environment and just kind of ask them open-ended questions about what they want in life, not what they want to do, because they don't know. And that is something I think that a lot of people it will be useful for them. Ask them, hey, when you're 30, where do you picture yourself? Who's around you? This is literally how I ask these questions in the launch program. What does your family look like? Who's there? And don't hammer them with questions. Just casually ask these questions and then say, where do you think you're going to stay here? Or is there some place you've always wanted to move? And then ask them, do you want to own a house? Do you want to live in an apartment like we live? Just ask them what they want. And once you have them talking about what they want, because it's easy for human beings to picture the physical things that they want. It is. Most of us can easily picture the physical things that we'd like to have, or people we'd like to have around us, or where we'd like to be. Just a couple hours ago, I had a call who just came into the launch program, and he said very specifically, gave me ecosystem specifics about where he wants to live. Anywhere that the ground doesn't crack when you walk on it. He's like, I just want to be around pine trees where you got to wear a jacket. That was what he said. That's just how he feels, because it's easy for them to picture where they want to be, even though they can't picture what career will get them there, or what job or what path will get them there. So ask them those questions, because now what you have is you have some context and you have some goals, and it's much easier to help them figure out what's going to get them to those places than just trying to pick out of all of the options. And worse, instead of picking out of all the job options, you're just picking, go to this college and then get this degree and then maybe try to get that. There's very little strategy actually to doing that. And people think that it's strategic to just go into a college and get a degree, but actually the strategy happens before that.
Yeah, this is especially important, like getting out of the house and having these conversations. It's important for everybody, especially for people like this parent here that are giving suggestions before asking questions. What we want to do is we want to ask as many questions as possible of your child and get as much information as we can out of them about what they want. If we can get all of this information out about what they want, then we can figure out how to build a plan to get there. But just blindly suggesting things is bound to irritate anybody. Why don't you lose some weight? If losing the weight is what you think they should do, like, why don't you lift weights? Or why don't you walk for 30 minutes a day? Or why don't you go run a marathon? You don't even know my goals. I don't understand. You're just shouting things at me.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be well received at all. I wouldn't receive that well at all. Hey there. I hope that you're loving this episode of the Degree Free Podcast. We spend a ton of time every week creating this content for you. So my only ask is you take a quick second to leave a review or a thumbs up on whatever platform you're on. It's one of the best and easiest ways that you can support this podcast, and this simple action can help bring more people into the Degree Free community. At Degree Free, we want to help as many people as we can thrive and succeed without needing a college degree. Your review will be a step in that direction. If you could do this small favor right now, pause this and leave a review. It would truly mean the world to us. Thank you, and back to the show. And so that's really important. I want to talk a little bit about what you're talking about. This approach is, we didn't pioneer this approach. One, it's just kind of common sense when you think about it like that. But Tony Robbins talks about this a lot. And it's like, one, you start with your why. Like, why are you doing all of this? Whatever it is, whatever the change that you're trying to make in life.
Yeah. Career, like you said, losing weight.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting stronger.
And for us, you don't come to us and you don't listen to this podcast. You don't consume our content if you're not trying to make a change. That's just the way that it is. We're not an entertainment podcast, unfortunately. I mean, I wish we did entertainment podcast numbers, because those guys
they kill
it. We're not super entertaining.
Hey, guys, if you watch the YouTube video, just hang on with us. Tell Ryan that you want us to start a YouTube channel to do React videos. I'm campaigning for it and I need your help. I want you to review this, give it a 5-star review, and in the review say, Hannah said to give this 5-star review. Ryan, start a YouTube channel, React channel. You
start with the why. Okay, awesome. This is why I want to have this. I want to have this. I want to have this. And then the last thing out of all of it, if you're like who, what, where, and why, that type of thing, the last thing is like the how.
That's your final piece of the bridge.
Is the last thing that we talk about. If you look at my own life, and I've talked about it before, like, my goal of retiring by 40, if you had asked me when I was 16 years old when I made that goal, it was probably going to be like being an investment banker or something. That's how I was going to do it because that's the only jobs that I knew. And I talk about this story in the book that's coming out if you guys want the book. And the book goes over how to have these conversations, like literally these conversations.
There's worksheets.
Yeah, we have a bunch of worksheets in the book if you want to get that book so that you can have these conversations with your 16 to 20-year-old. Go to degreefree.co/book and you can order it. I'm not sure when the launch date is or anything like that. It's on pre-order now as of this recording. Not sure if it's going to be launched by the time that this comes out. Probably not. But anyway, it'll walk you through all of this in this worksheet so that you can figure all of this out with your young adult. And it's meant to literally be there because we've seen the best results when the parents are involved in this process.
Yeah.
Like in the launch program, for example, they're not on the calls. Sometimes they are. Most of the times they're not. But they are involved.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by that is that after our sessions, the child or the young adult, they will go and have conversations with their family.
These are kitchen table conversations.
Right. They'll have conversations about the things that we talked about in our sessions. They'll be like, okay, well, this is what I said I wanted. And then a lot of times, the questions that we're asking them, this is the first time that anybody asked them these questions.
Yeah.
You know, like simple things like how much money do you want to make? And if they don't know, which is interesting that a lot of kids actually do, or at least they have a kind of an idea of it. But even if they don't know, okay, well, the downstream questions are everything that you just said, right? Well, where do you want to live? What kind of house do you want to live in? Do you want a pet? What does your diet look like? That type of stuff.